And we're recording. Okay. Hello, this is Alison Verhalen, owner of AV Writing Services, and this is my webinar, Who Are You Blogging For? I hosted it a few hours ago and I completely forgot to hit record. I had every intention of recording it for the people who registered or expressed interest in it and were not able to make it at the time that I hosted it. And of course, I completely forgot to hit record. So I am redoing it real quick for you right now. So welcome to my webinar, Who Are You Blogging For? It's only about 20 minutes, so hang in there with me. So for those of you who don't know me super well, if you came to, whether you're watching this recording because you registered for the webinar and you weren't able to make it at the time, or if you found this recording through other means, I'm going to give you a brief rundown of who I am and why you should care what I have to say. So like I said, my name is Alison Verhalen. I own AV Writing Services. It is a content marketing and SEO strategy company. I started in this industry completely by accident. I graduated from college in 2009, had no idea what content marketing was. Blogging was just starting to take off. That was when blogging was still more of an online diary kind of a thing, and not really a serious way to get more money for your business. So I graduated with a degree in English and psychology. Little did I know that was the perfect degree for content marketing, but hey, it all worked out. Despite the fact that, like I said, I graduated in 2009. If you remember what things were like back then, they were not great. There were no jobs to be had. I thought I wanted to work in publishing. There were no jobs to be had in publishing or really a whole lot of other industries. I was a receptionist. I worked in customer service. They were jobs, they were not careers. I found myself between jobs at one point, and my roommate at the time, her dad, who was an attorney, was awesome and offered to give me stuff to do around his office until I got back on my feet. And one of the things he needed was someone to write blog posts for his law firm. So I started doing that. He knew I had a strong writing background, so he offered me the gig. I was more than happy to get paid to write, finally. So I started writing for his law firm and then for a friend of his, and then I started writing for some other friends of mine, and did eventually get another day job, but I kept writing on the side to the point where I couldn't really do both anymore. So AV Writing Service was born, and I left the day job. After about 6 months of writing for that first client of mine, he told me that I had brought in $75,000 worth of business for his company just through the blog posts that I was writing. And a lot of that came from writing about the law without being a lawyer, because most lawyers are not writing for other lawyers. They're writing for the average Joe like you and I, right? People who do not understand Latin. We skipped that course in college or high school, don't understand what they're talking about. What's pro bono? I don't know. Silly Latin words, right? So I really put it in words that the average person could understand, and put it in such a way that made it obvious why these people should care about the law and changes to the law and case decisions and how that really impacted their lives. So now I do it for all kinds of people, and I teach people how to do it for themselves if they're not quite able to do it for themselves. So, or if they're not quite able to hire someone like me to do it, if they want to try to do it themselves, that's where I come in, and that's where things like this webinar come in. So I am going to go ahead and get into the presentation. Give me 1 second to start sharing my screen. We're going to get over to the PowerPoint here and start the slideshow. So like I said, this presentation is called Who Are You Blogging For? It is the cornerstone of your blogging strategy. And what I see a lot of people, especially small business owners and solopreneurs, what I see them doing is they know they need to be blogging for their business, but they don't really know what that means. So they put up a blog, they make sure it's published regularly. They don't really know what they're doing. They don't have a strong call to action. They don't keep their target audience in mind throughout the entire process. Like I said with that attorney, he would write stuff before I took over writing for him. He wrote his own blog posts, and they it was obvious that he knew what he was talking about. And if you worked with it a while, you could figure out what he was talking about, but you had to work to get there. Don't ever make your audience work to figure out what you're talking about. Don't ever confuse them, because if you make them feel dumb, if you make them work to figure it out, they're just going to click away and find what they need somewhere else, because they are almost guaranteed to find what they need somewhere else. Someone will give it to them in terms they can understand without making them feel stupid. And if that is not you, they're going to find who that is. And you're SOL, you lost out on that opportunity to convert that client. So you absolutely have to keep in mind who your target audience is. And without it, this is kind of what your blogging strategy looks like, right? It's just, I describe it as shooting into the dark and not knowing what you're trying to hit, much less knowing where it is, right? You look at all this darkness and you don't know where you're going or what you're doing or what you should be doing. By contrast, once you define your target audience, now you have a clearly defined target. Now you know what you're aiming for, and actually getting your marketing material to hit that target is so much easier because you can actually see the target. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about trying to understand who your target audience is. They are literally your target. There's a reason we call it the target audience, right? We're not trying to be subtle here. So these are the things that you need in order to create an audience persona. You need a photo. I offered up myself here, as this is a photo of me that I happen to like. So if you want to use it for your audience persona, you are more than happy to. If you want to use another stock photo, or if you get permission from your favorite client to use a photo of them or your spouse or one of your kids, whatever, go for it. But the point of the photo is to make your target audience more human. Think of them as a person. You are not writing to the internet. Yes, you are publishing it on the internet, but don't think about it as a bunch of ones and zeros. Think about it as people. Who are the people you are trying to reach? So with a photo, that really helps you focus on the fact that there is a person out there or people that you are trying to reach. So focus on that. Same with the name. Next up, you're going to create a name for that person. It can be a name that you just happen to like. It can be a name of your favorite client. It can be a name that means something in Latin or Greek or whatever language you happen to speak and you enjoy and it makes sense for you, right? It doesn't have to be. It can be a name picked out randomly from a baby name book. I don't care. But again, the name has to humanize them. So you think about these people as people, not just the internet at large, which is this kind of large amorphous thing out there, right? So that's really what it comes down to with all of these things in your audience persona. But the photo and the name are really going to drive home to you that these are people, not just the internet, not just a string of ones and zeros. So next up, you're going to talk about their goals and motivations, specifically the goals and motivations that you can help them solve through whatever products or services you provide for them. What is it that they are hoping to accomplish in their lives, either in their personal lives or in their business lives or both, that you can help them do? You can help them accomplish those goals through whatever it is that you are providing for them. And by focusing on those goals and motivations, that's how you're going to reel them in, because you're going to make it clear that you understand their pain point, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and you can help solve that pain point for them and get them to, like I said, achieve those goals. And you're going to motivate them to buy from you eventually. Next up is their personality. Are they introverted? Are they extroverted? Are they chatty? Do they prefer to listen? Are you going to find them at a networking event? Are you more likely to find them online? Do they prefer email, or would they rather have you pick up the phone and give them a call or even send a text? I'm a millennial. My generation tends to prefer text messages. So keep all these things in mind, because it's going to help you find out where to find your target audience and how to make sure you get in front of them. And it's also going to help you figure out how to communicate with them, because you need to know how they prefer to be communicated with so that they're more likely to engage in that communication. Demographics, age range, gender, race, income bracket, all that good stuff. I have worked with a lot of clients who have two audience personas, one for each gender. Now that gender non-binary is becoming more popular, maybe you want 3 to cover that third base. Maybe if you only work with one gender, because of whatever products or services you provide. Maybe you only need one, or maybe you'll need a second persona to cover a different area of a different subset of your audience that you serve. I have a client who has, I think, 3 or 4 audience personas, and I think they're all women. Maybe one of them is a man. She does work with some men, but she primarily works with women. But each audience persona represents a different subset of the people that she serves. So for example, if you're in a B2B industry and you serve small businesses and entrepreneurs, but you also serve some corporate clients, those people are going to be attracted to you for different reasons, and you're probably going to have different products and services that you provide to them, different ways that you reach out to them, that you get in front of them. All of that is going to be different. So you're going to need different audience personas for each of those audiences. Who do they report to? This is especially important if you are in a B2B industry like I am. You need to understand who all is making the buying decision. In a B2B industry, you have a lot of people making that buying decision. It's not necessarily one person like me. I'm the head of the household. If you're trying to sell me something that's B2C, I'm going to be the only one making that decision, and I will make it based on the factors that I have in front of me. If you're selling to children, know that the parents are usually the ones making the buying decision. If you're selling to an adult man or woman who's married and or has children, maybe their spouse is helping to make that decision. Maybe they need to clear it with the spouse before they can go ahead and buy it. So always keep these things in mind. Who are all the people that you need to be talking to? Because it's not always necessarily just the person who is looking for the solution that you're providing. Next up, pain points. I said we're going to be talking about this, and oh, are we going to be talking about this? Because it is the main thing you need to be focusing on in all of your content, especially in your blog posts. You need to understand what it is that drives people to you. What is it about them, about their situation, that is causing pain and or could cause more pain later in the future? Maybe right now it's just annoying, like a hangnail, but if they don't do something about it now, it could get infected and cause all kinds of problems and cripple them, and then they need their foot amputated or their hand amputated, right? Like, this is what you need to keep in mind, and you need to communicate with them that if they don't solve the problem now by buying your products or services, that it could get that much worse. And so this is what they need to do to solve that problem. Next up are your sales objections. So if you've been in business for a while, no doubt you've had some sales conversations, even if it's just an email chain where some people are like, yeah, okay, thanks, not interested, maybe later. You need to know how to overcome those sales objections. So by knowing what they are and including them in your audience persona and knowing who tends to come up with which kinds of sales objections, you can create a script to help you overcome those sales objections. So the next time you're on a call and someone gives you that same objection, you can say, well, but XYZ, right? And then you have a better chance of closing that deal. Next up, their background. What is your target audience's background, specifically as it relates to the product or service that you provide? So what is it about their situation? What happened to them to create this pain point? What drove them to seek you out, or what drove them to click on that link when they saw a link to your blog on social media, right? So all of these things you need to keep in mind. And again, with the background, it's going to help you humanize your target audience more, because when you're thinking about their background and their history, you're thinking about them as people, not just as the internet at large. So this is an audience persona that I stole from a client of mine. She is a business coach. She's also my business coach. She is fabulous and I love her. And this is one of her audience personas that I was looking over when I started working for her. P.S. If you ever hire someone like me, whether it's a marketer or an SEO strategist or someone to write your blogs or all of the above, having these audience personas is super helpful for us, because we need to know who we're blogging for, right? This is exactly why it is the very first webinar I am giving, because it is the basis of your entire content strategy, is knowing who that target audience is, who you're trying to attract, engage, and convert. So This particular audience persona has most of the things I talked about, not all of them. There is no photo. There is a name, the demographics, goals, challenges, how she can help them, all that great stuff. So this is just something to consider as far as, again, what you need when it comes to your audience persona. Just some food for thought here. Who is your favorite client? So next up, we're going to be talking about, so now we know what you need in your audience persona. That's easy enough. Now, how are you going to find this information on your audience persona? So I always like to start with your favorite clients. Again, if you've been in business for a while, you probably already have some favorite clients. You probably have some people you love to work for, you love hearing from them, or in some cases you love not hearing from them. If you've got those clients who are like, here's what I need, go, and they just trust you to take it and run with it, those are the best. They're much better than the micromanaging clients, and we've all had those. So who is your favorite client? I had the little Oscar here because it's fun and I like the Oscars, but if you could give one of your clients an Oscar for being the best client ever, who would it be? And take some time to think about them and all of those things that we just talked about for your audience persona: their name, their background, their demographics, their identifiers, goals, personality, challenges, pain points, who they report to, and I added another one: what is the most recent project you worked on for them? That can give you an idea of, again, your target audience, what they need from you, but it can also give you an idea of the kind of work that you like to do. Maybe you love working with this particular client because they had you doing something you don't normally get to do and it was really exciting. So absolutely keep all of that in mind. If you don't have any favorite clients, maybe you're just starting out, maybe you don't have any clients yet, maybe you only have one or two and it's your parents or your aunt and uncle, whatever, you love them or you hate them, but you're glad they're supporting you, whatever, not here to judge. We all have family drama. The other great way to find information on your target audience is social media. It is your friend. People put all kinds of information on social media and it's public information. It is there for the taking. So go ahead and take it. So I always like to start with my competition. This is me spying on my competition with my not so sneaky binoculars, right? Because I don't have to be sneaky. I can just log on to Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, wherever they're hanging out, and see what they're posting, see when they're posting it, how often they're posting it. I can see who's engaging with them, what kinds of things they're saying when they're engaging, and I can kind of reverse engineer their content strategy. And I have absolutely done that with some of my competition because they're awesome and I want to be that awesome, but in my own way. I never want this to be confused as you should copy from your competition, because you should not. Like I said, you can reverse engineer and kind of copy their strategy, but you should never copy their content. Not only is it rude, it's also not going to be super effective because Google will know that that content has been copied. They will absolutely punish you. They might also punish the original publisher of that content, and then they'll be angry at you. And that's just not a good situation to be in. So you can copy the strategy, you can write about the things they're writing about, but don't ever just straight up copy the content, because again, not only is it rude, but it's not going to do you any favors. It's going to backfire. So take a look at who's following your competition, and then take a look at who those followers are following. Are they following other influencers? Are they following certain celebrities? What are they posting? Are they posting about their families? Are they posting about the new house they just bought? What's going on in their lives? And you can see all of that just from their social media profiles. So once you know who's following your competition, then go ahead and take a deep dive into the profiles of those followers and see what else they're doing online, because that will tell you about their hobbies, their interests, their family life, their income level, if they're living alone, if they have roommates, if they're still living with their parents, if they have pets, all of those things. Everyone can find out most of those things about me just by looking me up online. So absolutely figure those things out using social media. Again, social media is your friend. you should absolutely take advantage of it. And that is pretty much it. I told you this would be short and sweet. So if you are ready to start blogging, you can reach out to me directly. There's my email. It's right there, allison.verhalen@gmail.com. My cell phone number is 708-560-6412. There is my scheduling link. And then there is another link right there to my blogging accountability group. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit about my blogging accountability group. It is a paid group. It is hosted on Facebook. It is $49 a month USD. I've had some people join this webinar from across the pond, so I feel obligated to say that it is in US dollars. But what that gets you is, it's exactly what it says. It's a blogging accountability group / course. So every week on Monday, we start with, what are your goals for the week? What are you hoping to accomplish with your blog for the week? It does not necessarily have to be, I want to write a blog post this week. It can be, but maybe you just need to come up with a topic. Maybe you just need to create a content calendar for the rest of the month, or whatever it might, or do your SEO research, or do some research on your target audience, right? That's always a big one. So absolutely keep that in mind. So that's Monday. Tuesday is Tip Tuesday. I go live in the group to provide tips. It could be whatever is at the top of my mind at that particular time. If anyone has put something about their goals in the group, then usually I will make the Tip Tuesday around their goals, and I'll provide tips to help them achieve those goals. Anyone can ask questions and ask me to answer it in Tip Tuesday. That's always on the table. Wednesday is Writing Wednesday. We have a power hour from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central. And that's just, again, I put up a post real quick saying, hey, power hour starting, get to work. And after it, I say, okay, power hour's up. How'd you do? And it's 1 hour. I know blogging is super time intensive. I know it takes me much longer than 1 hour per week to get done everything I need to get done. But if you're not blogging every week, if you're only blogging once or twice a month, you can absolutely devote 1 hour a week to getting your blogging goals done and create a blog on your schedule and get it done. It's just 1 hour out of your week. It's not asking that much. And I know we're all super busy, but if you're committing to getting your blogging done, that's what it takes, at least 1 hour per week. So that's Wednesday. Thursday is Question Thursday. I'm open to questions. Anyone can post stuff in the group, or they can post a question as a comment to my little Question Thursday post. And then Friday is a celebration. What did you accomplish? Tell us all about those awesome goals you accomplished. And if you didn't quite accomplish them, that's okay. Let's talk about why or why not, and what other resources and support you need from me to help you accomplish those goals. So that is my blogging accountability group. Again, the link is right there. If you have any other questions, again, I'm here at avwritingservices.com. You can check out my blog there. I write about all kinds of things. Again, I publish every week, so it's been going on for, I think, about 1.5 years now. So by this time, there's tons of content on there, and I do believe there will be more webinars forthcoming. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great rest of your day, week, month, whenever it is you're joining me at this time. Thank you so much for joining me at this webinar, and I will see you later. I hope to see you in that blogging accountability group.